everybody, this is Matt, and this is Clicks Rule Podcast episode number 2. And this podcast is all about HeroClix and what's going on in the game, and just talking about it, And in this episode, we're going to be talking about the newly unveiled Batman the Animated Series HeroClix set coming out in August. We're going to be talking about the fourth Turtle set, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Unplugged set that's coming out later this year. And we're going to be talking about the X-Men Xavier School HeroClix set that's coming out in February. So let's just jump right into it. So the first thing we're going to be talking about is the Batman the Animated Series HeroClix set. And I think this surprised a lot of people when WizKids announced it, because I think we were so focused on, movie properties and comic book properties that like cartoon stuff we never even thought it was even possible, and I think it shocked a lot of people when this set was announced. This is going to be a standard 5-figure booster pack brick case set, and it's coming out in August 2018. It's going to be the first regular DC set of the year, which is a little sad for DC players who's going to have to go, 8-9 months without a lot of DC of anything. But this should be a really, really cool set. It's based off of the 1990s cartoon, which I think a lot of people really, really loved. That was the time for cartoons. The Batman the Animated Series, X-Men cartoon, Superman cartoon. Those were just some of my favorites during that time. And what's really cool, it's just seeing this Fast Forces over to the side, and the models look just completely just pulled right out of the cartoon. And part of it just looks so familiar because I used to collect those action figures when I grew up. So I've seen what the cartoon looks like in 3D, and they look just like the action figures. It's really amazing. Let's just jump into the solicitation that you can see right below the images. Batman the Animated Series was the Batman of a generation. It's consistently praised by critics and was nominated for more than 20 awards during its run. More than 25 years later, it's still one of the top superhero cartoons of all time. For the first time ever, these versions of your favorite Batman characters come to HeroClix. So I think right off the bat, that's gonna make some people mad, because the last DC set we got was Harley Quinn and the Gotham Girls, so another Batman related set. And then the set before that we got, which was DC related, was Joker's Wild, which was Gotham City Batman related. So now this is, the last 3 DC sets have all been Batman related, and I think a lot of people are like, well, I have enough Jokers, I have enough Harley Quinns, can we get some other DC characters now? But let's read on with the solicitation, because there is some stuff I think a lot of people will be looking forward to. In addition to the heroes and villains of Gotham, fans will be delighted to learn that there are characters from Justice League Unlimited, Batman Beyond, and the Super Friends. The HeroClix team has taken special care to showcase characters from beloved episodes that have never been clicks before, like Zeta, Leslie Tompkins, Maxie, Zeus, Kaido King, the Clock King, the Phantasm, Riddler's Robot Minotaur, I don't know where that's from, Apache Chief, and others. So the one that jumps out to me here is Apache Chief, and that's because I'm a huge Super Friends fan. Growing up, Super Friends was before my time, but they were running they would run reruns on Boomerang or whatever. I think that's where I watched it, and I loved Super Friends. And I especially love how once Green Lantern started coming into the picture, Green Lantern, that's when when they started expanding the cast to characters like Apache Chief and the Chinese Tornado Dude and Green Lantern and Hawkman and Hawkwoman and all those kinds of characters. When they started expanding the cast, that's when I really started just really liking it a lot. Because before that, it was kind of just like, hey, it's Batman, Robin, and Wonder Dog. They're doing it felt a lot like Scooby-Doo, kinda. But once they added in all the other characters, it was really cool. and I'm real excited. As you can see on the booster pack, on the side of the booster pack, on the top part, they have Batman Beyond characters. You can see Terry McGinnis in his Batman Beyond costume. You can see Old Man Bruce Wayne, and then some kind of robot in the middle of them. I don't know if that's Brainiac or I don't know. It might be Zeta. I don't know. And then below you see Super Friends. You see Wonder Woman ricocheting some bullets off her bracelets. A Hawk Girl, finally a flippin' Hawk Girl. I've been wanting a Hawk Girl with Justice League keyword for a long time, and you know how long it's been since we've had a Hawk Girl with Justice League keyword. Is there a carded Hawk Girl with Justice League keyword? Because I'm not sure there is. Just right off the bat. I mean, like, the last Hawk Girl we got was Bizarro Hawk Girl. So she didn't have it. And then I remember when Brightest Day came out, the Brightest Day Fast Forces came out. That had a Hawk Girl on there. And she just had, like, Brightest Day keyword. And, like, I kept thinking, these are cool sculpts, but, like, where is the Hawk Girl that I can play with the Justice Society? Where is the Hawk Girl I can play with the Justice League? You know, and we've gotten a few Hawk Man, you know, with Justice League keyword and stuff. Like, the KC one has Justice League, stuff like that, but no Hawk Girl. So I'm very excited to see a new Hawk Girl. And then we also see on the side of the package an Aquaman riding his seahorse, which looks really, really cool. Some people say that the Super Friends are going to be the chases of the set. I doubt it, because that Wonder Woman sculpt is very basic. I think more likely they'll make it like one's a common, one's an uncommon, one's a rare, one's a super rare. And I think the Aquaman will definitely be a super rare. The Hawk Girl may be a rare. Wonder Woman may be a common, stuff like that. You know, but I mean, I think there's some people that are like, okay, more Batman stuff. But I've also been clamoring for Batman Beyond for a while, because we got like Batman Beyond, Terry McGinnis. We got him in Arkham Asylum, and like, very cool sculpt. I always thought it was really cool. And then they never gave us anything else Batman Beyond for like forever. And then we finally got like a Superman Beyond that was like an LE in like the Superman set or something. And that was like one of the first Oreo doll sets. And I was like, oh man, are they going to make more Batman Beyond? And they never did. And for the longest time in my display cabinet, I had Batman Beyond and Superman Beyond sitting right next to each other going, one day we'll get more. And like, some of the cool characters in Batman Beyond, there's like a Justice League Beyond, and they're not called that, but you know, and one of the characters is a Green Lantern. So I've always, it looks like Aang from Avatar, but he became a Green Lantern, and he doesn't have like elemental powers or nothing, but you know, that's what he kind of looks like. And then there's like there's Hawk Girl and Jon Stewart's son. It's like Warwing or something. And then there's like an Amazon girl or something like that. And it's pretty cool. It's a pretty cool group. I really hope we get those guys and gals. I really hope we get that group in there. I think that would really spice things up. There's like a new Atom, like Micron or something like that. For some reason that name jumps out to me, but it's a really cool group. So I'm really excited for Super Friends, and I'm really excited for Batman Beyond. You know, I like Batman the animated series. I think it would have done better maybe as a Fast Forces, but now with them combining Batman Beyond and Super Friends, I can see how that makes a full set. And I'm excited. I will probably just buy singles though, because again, like, I like Batman, but I have plenty of Batman family pieces. I have plenty of different Batmans and Robins. I don't really try to collect the Jokers and the Harley Quinns and the bad guys. So I don't really see there be a lot in the set for me other than the Batman Beyond and the Super Friend pieces. I'm going to try to get all the Super Friend pieces, of course. The Batman Beyond pieces, I may not go after the bad guys. I may just try to get Terry McGinnis and Old Man, Old Man Wayne. I keep saying Old Man Logan, but Old Man Wayne. I may just try to get those two. I don't know. It really depends on what they have. And I doubt I'll pick up the Fast Forces. I just, again, I don't know if it was the best timing, but I do think they surprised a lot of people with this reveal, because I don't think anybody expected them to go back and use cartoon licenses. And this really opens the door for all kinds of amazing stuff. Personally, I would like to see them repurpose the Cartoon Network Teen Titans show. Not Teen Titans Go. No, do not even get near Teen Titans Go. Don't even look at it. Don't even make them the chase figures. No, WizKids, no. But the original Teen Titans cartoon was amazing. And then also take the Young Justice cartoon and make that into a set. I think that would be really, really cool. I think that would be really, really cool. It's been a while since we've had Teen Titan pieces. And it was the Teen Titans set. And that came out around Wolverine and the X-Men. And I would really like to see some more Teen Titans. And if they combine Young Justice with the Teen Titans cartoon, then they have access to all kinds of cool characters that was added on later on, like Mas and Minos. I would love a Mas and Minos so much. Oh man, they would be amazing. But yeah, it'd be pretty cool. So I'm excited. I'm really excited for the Super Friends. I'm excited for the Batman family. I think the Batman the animated series will be okay. So that set comes out in August 2018. We don't know what time of the month. Maybe early month, mid month, late month. We don't know. As of yet, we don't know a definite date. But definitely look forward to it. And it's probably not in the system for your local stores yet, so they probably can't go and order it already. But definitely let your local stores know if you're interested in it. Tell them, hey dude, like I gotta have this. Let me pre-order a case. Let me do it now. You got to stay in communication with them. Let them know how much you're interested in. That's so they can bring in more. So moving on, we're gonna be talking about the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles HeroClix Unplugged set, and this is set number 4 that's coming out. We had the regular turtle set, then we had the Heroes in a Half Shell set, and then we had like Shredder's Return, I believe that's what it was called. They were all really cool sets. Now this one is called Unplugged, and just looking from the graphics on the box, they look kind of pixelated like from video games. And there's another hint out there, and I maybe should have included it in this image. At one of the conventions, WizKids showed off a Bebop figure that was pixelated. It wasn't 2D, it was 3D, but it would look like it was made out of cubes, like in Minecraft, like a Minecraft version of Bebop would look like. And from that point, we kind of knew they were kind of going for like a retro 8-bit style look for these figures, and that's turned off some people. Some of my friends, it's turned off. Personally, in my own personal opinion, I hope there's not too many of them in the set. I definitely wanted a new turtle set, because there's so many different characters they have not made yet, because they're going through all the different licenses, from the original cartoon to the original cartoon, the original comic book, the comic book that came after that, and all the cartoons that came after that. There's so many different characters they could represent in the game, and it feels like as the second and third set came out, they started redoing a lot of the same characters, like Fugitoid and Renee Tilly and stuff, and I'm like, we don't need 3 and 4 and 5 versions of these secondary characters, and we really don't need like 8 or 9 different versions of the Turtles. Like let's see some of these other characters, like some more Mutanimals. That would be really, really cool. Pigeon Pete, or the robot, not the robot doctor, the doctor that's an ape, Dr. Rockwell, is that his name? He would be awesome, with telekinesis and stuff. Let's see some of those characters. Let's see the Bruce Lee dude that's part of the thugs. It would be really cool to see those characters and not just the same old Bebop, Rocksteady, Shredder, Turtles, Splinter, April O'Neil. The same old. And I think what worries a lot of people with seeing the Unplugged is that it's not a theme. Like, okay, we're gonna do in space, so we're gonna have more in space characters. It's just like a generic theme. Like, oh, now they're gonna be an 8-bit style. And what that scares a lot of people is, oh, that means we're just gonna get the same old characters, but now they're in 8-bit style, and that I think that would turn a lot of people away from the set. You get another Splinter, another Casey Jones, another April O'Neil, another Shredder, another Bebop Rocksteady, another Rat King or whatever. But this time they're in 8-bit. The 8-bit it would be interesting. The 8-bit would be interesting as chases, and chases only, in my opinion. If you try to do the whole set as 8-bit or do a majority of the set as 8-bit, I think you're gonna turn away too many people, and I really worry about it because, we saw Star Trek get a 5-figure booster, and when was the last time Star Trek had a gravity feed? And now Turtles is having 4 gravity feeds, but they're not offered a 5-figure booster. So a lot of people, we weren't even sure this 4th set was going to come out because the 2012 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle cartoon, it ended last year, like finito, like no more episodes of it. And a lot of people were thinking, well, with that show ending and a new one on the horizon but coming out later in the year, maybe WizKids will just drop the license altogether, and move on to something different, Thankfully, it doesn't seem like WizKids has dropped the license completely. Hopefully, this is not the last gravity feed for Turtles. But, I think a lot of people would like to see a 5-figure booster for Turtles, and it may not happen. So, but the news about this set is that it was supposed to come out in March of this year, but it's been pushed back to May 2018, and that's the same month where Avengers Infinity is coming out, and Avengers Infinity, I don't have any pictures on the screen of it, but basically it's going to be the first HeroClix set where every single booster has a 2x2 in it. It takes up 4 squares, and I've seen some other properties that have something like that. I think Pathfinder, which I don't think is WizKids, but it may be in connection with WizKids. They have every single booster pack has a 2x2 in it, and it's pretty cool stuff. They can do some good stuff. Now their 2x2s are not very tall. They're probably just maybe about 1.5 the size of a regular figure, at most about twice the height of a regular figure in their 2x2s. And I think one of the things they talked about in Avengers Infinity was like the spider buggy. And see, that's where something it could be more horizontally just on the base than vertically on the base. And the way like they do it in Pathfinder is, I think they put the 2x2 on the bottom of the booster, and then above the 2x2 they have like I think they're individually packaged, the other pieces in the booster pack. It'll be interesting to see. Either way, the Turtle set's being pushed back to the same month as that, which could make it hard for some people that want to collect both of them. But oh well, we'll see. Maybe they needed more time to get everything ready and get it shipped over here. And as you can see in the picture, I found a mock-up for the booster box, and it is a mock-up. As you can see on the sides, there's no images of other figures. You can see in the front of it, the booster packs are flat. So this is a mock-up. The booster box may not look exactly like this, but this gives you a good idea of what it's going to look like and what to expect from the set. So again, that set's coming out in May of 2018. It's not coming out in March. It's coming out in May of 2018. We've talked about Batman the Animated Series, which is going to be really cool. We've talked about the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Unplugged set. Now let's get into the X-Men Xavier School. And there's a lot to talk about because we have pre-releases coming up. They're going to be starting between February 3rd and February 10th. So they're coming up. I think stores, it's already past the deadline for stores to schedule their events. So, but you can go to win.wizkids.com and look up events in your area to see if there are any pre-releases scheduled for those times. And definitely check them out. You'll be able to get your hands on the set a week or two before it comes out. So that's pretty cool stuff. And also, Scott Porter, the amazing Scott Porter, he did his unboxing this week of his brick of X-Men Xavier School. And he got some cool figures in it. And I kind of wanted to talk about some of the figures that really popped out at me. Some of them that made me excited. Some that made me happy. And I really want to get my hands on. So let's just start out with Professor X. And, we'll start right into his trait. Okay, let's start with his point total. He can be played at either 75 points or 50 points. And he has X-Man team ability, X-Man keyword, and that's it. Now, he has a really cool trait, Headmaster X-Man. So this is the Headmaster trait is something they're given to a bunch of different characters in this set. And as you can see on the side of the booster pack, which I did not include a picture of the booster pack, but if you go back to the previous podcast, you can see a picture of the booster pack. On the side of the booster pack, it has a sub-theme of Headmasters. And basically, these are the people that have run the groups in the past. The people that have been in charge of the X-Men, been in charge of the Hellions, been in charge of Generation X, that kind of stuff. They're getting these Headmaster traits. And the Headmaster traits are really, really cool. It allows the character to use leadership. And they can also use Perplex, but only to target another friendly character with the X-Men keyword. Or whatever the group is they're leading. So that's really cool right off the bat. Leadership and Perplex. And then during force construction, you may include one student ID card on your force without adding its cost. Okay, so the reason I added this image down in the middle, it says featuring faculty and student ID cards, is because there's a difference between the two of them. Now, faculty ID cards are a lot like ID cards we've known about already. They're 5 points. They can call in a character. There's inspiration to them, so the person that calls them in and the people around that character when they come onto the field, they get an extra power and stuff like that. It's very straightforward, what we've been doing for the same time. Now, the student ID cards are a bit different. And the reason I point this out is because all the Headmaster traits can only bring in student ID cards, cannot bring in ID cards in general. So you can't summon Spider-Man with Professor X, or bring in the Spider-Man ID card with Professor X. It has to be a student ID card, not a faculty ID card. The student ID cards do not cost 5 points, they cost 3 points. And the student ID cards, as far as I know, do not have any inspiration to them. So they're cheaper, but they have no inspiration. And at the moment, we don't know of many student ID cards. As you can see in the picture, we can see X-23 or as Wolverine. She goes by Wolverine now. And also, we know for sure that these new ID cards do not have any real names on them. So, if it is called Wolverine, now it does say on there, it says all new Wolverine. I wonder, and the other one says Storm. We haven't seen her in the set yet, I don't believe. But I don't think her name is all new Wolverine if she is in the set. I don't know. Are we going to get a figure called all new Wolverine? If so, that's the name you can use. You can't bring her in with Laura, whatever her other name is anymore. You can't bring in that Storm ID card with Aurora Monroe or whatever. It has to be Storm, And that's one of the big differences between the newer ID cards and the older ID cards. The older ID cards, you could pull in characters with their real name. If you had a Spider-Man ID card with a real name Peter Parker, you could bring in any character that had a real name Peter Parker, even if their regular name was not Spider-Man. It could be called Spider-Knight, it could be called Venom, it could be called anything, Old Man Ben, I don't know, as long as their real name was Peter Parker, you could call them in. The new ones don't have a real name, so the Storm ID card can only call in characters with the Storm name. Now, it does open up opportunities. If there was a DC character named Storm, it could probably be used with that card, but, other than that, it has to be that character. So that's interesting, and I like it being more simplified like that. It does lessen the options, but I think at the same exact time, it lessens the potential to abuse it. people, some of the reasons some of the ID cards got so expensive on the secondary market was because there would be these pieces that would come out that wasn't like a regular character, but it was really overpowered, and you call them in with the ID card, and suddenly, booyah, you got a really good combo out of it, and it made certain ID cards go through the roof because of it, so I kind of like it more simplified, where it still opens up the opportunity of a broken Storm coming out and they can use the ID card for her, but there's no way of there being like a what if Aurora Monroe that has the Phoenix Force power. You can call her in. I guess you could call in the monthly prize kit Storm with it, but whatever. You know what I'm saying? I like it more simplified, and the Headmaster trait can only include student ID cards without adding its cost. So, I mean, it's a free 3 points that Professor X has included along with it. And then he has this is why I really like the Professor X. The Headmaster trait is really nice, but I also like his special movement power. He has Mind Control. When Professor X uses it as a range action, he targets all opposing characters within range, regardless of line of fire, and hit targets can't make attacks during this action. So normally he has Mind Control that he can use from 8 squares away, and he can target 2 different characters. He also starts out with a 12 attack, which is pretty dang impressive. So, he can Mind Control 2 people, have them punch somebody and move. Or you can put him behind a wall and he can ignore line of fire and target everybody within 8. All opposing characters within 8. That's really, really powerful. Like, you imagine in like a battle royale setting, being like near the middle of the map and going 8 squares to the left, 8 squares to the right, 8 squares forward, and 8 squares backwards. That like 16 square circle of characters that he can mind control. Now, they cannot make attacks. That's the big difference. They cannot make attacks, but you can move them half their movement. For normally with a mind control, they can move half their movement. So if your opponent's slowly creeping up on your team, you can be like, no, send your whole team back, 5 or 6 squares, and you've just kind of like ruined their setup pretty much. I really, really like that. And what's cool is you can play him for 50 points, and I think this is where I would most likely play him at. For 50 points, you get 11 attack, the special mind control for 1 click, you get outwit, defend, 17 defense, indomitable, 8 range, 2 targets. And you get the Headmaster trait, which gives you leadership and perplex, and a free student ID card. Like, that's ridiculous for 50 points. I'm definitely going to play him for 50 points. He is ridiculous for 50 points. I absolutely love him. And I really do think I would like to try to play him at 75 points too, because the 12 attack is really nice. And, even if he can't do a lot of mind control stuff, 12 attack, 2 target, 8 range, in cap is really nice with the 18 defend and outwit. I mean, he's with leadership and perplex. I mean, he is the total package when it comes to a support disruptive piece for the X-Men. And that's one thing I really like about a lot of the powers in the set. They give it out a lot. Headmaster, perplex, here you go. But they limit a lot of it to like you can only use it on other X-Men characters. And that's where I think a lot of this game needs to be with, because when you have stuff like Unimind where you can use the +2 on anything, now you can't, but you were originally allowed to. It breaks too much of the game. When you have these extra perplexes all around, if they're not limited by something, it's just gonna break. It's just gonna break stuff. So I'm really happy to see this set is much more, integrated within itself, where X-Men pieces are enhancing other X-Men pieces. Generation X pieces are enhancing other Generation X pieces. They're not just being able to enhance any other pieces played with it. If you want to play this Professor X, you most likely are going to be playing it with other X-Men pieces. You're not going to be playing them with Goblin King and then triple perplexing them up, and then you're not doing any of that stuff, So I like that. So moving on to some other pieces I really like from X-Men Xavier's School. Okay, so we got to talk about Darwin. And Darwin was showcased in the latest unboxing with Scott Porter. And Darwin is pretty freaking amazing. Now, the set number on this image is wrong. He's not number 2, and I don't think he's even number 12. He may be a rare in the set, but he is amazing. Now, if you can't see the text, I'll read them out to you. He is 35 points, has no range. He has X Factor and X-Man keywords. His stats are pretty horrible. He's not going to be doing anything really attack-wise the whole game. He's only 35 points. He has X student trait. When this character or an adjacent friendly character's attack roll includes exactly 1/5, modify one target's defense -1. So that can be useful. He can kind of do like a police team ability type thing. He does have X-Men team ability, so he could heal somebody with the X-Men team ability. His dial's perfect for it. And then he has here's one of his. He has 3 traits. That first trait. Then he has a second trait, Instant Adaption. When Darwin is targeted with an attack, choose a standard defense power. Darwin can use the chosen power for this attack. So if someone's like coming at you and they're like, okay, Psychic Blast you, and you're like, okay, I'm gonna choose Super Senses, or maybe I'll dodge it, and they're like, okay, here's my other duty as Precision Strike, and you're like, okay, I'm gonna choose Invincible. And you're like, crap. Like, he's really cool. I really like that about him. And then, so he gets to choose a standard defense power for each attack he's targeted with, which is really cool. Now, if you Pulse Wave him, you can just kill him. There you go. Pulse Wave, you're dead. But then his third trait is what is so amazing. It is, hallelujah, this is amazing. And it is, I can adapt so much faster than you. Whenever another character uses an effect that allows it to choose one or more standard powers to use, after resolutions, deal that character 1 unavoidable damage. So let me explain this. Whenever another character uses an effect that allows it to choose 1 or more standard powers to use, so that's specifically targeting the P.E.K.K.A. power pieces, like Goblin King, like Jakeem Thunder, like the Al Jordan, that say, pick a power, pick a standard attack, or pick a standard defense, or pick 2 standard powers. Whenever they pick those powers, after that resolves, they take 1 unavoidable damage. Now, unavoidable is not penetrating, so like they can't be like, well, I chose Invincible so I can reduce it. No. It's not even attack, so they can't even dodge it. They can't shape change it. They can't do anything. Unavoidable is unavoidable. They're taking 1 click after they choose their powers, and that's from a 35-point piece. And they can be anywhere on the map when they choose their powers. They're still taking 1 unavoidable, and that is amazing. And I kind of wish Darwin was not unique, because I would totally run 3 of him on every single team. That would be like 105 points. 105 points. But whenever a character chooses a power, they take 3 unavoidable. That would be so amazing. Even 2 for 70. I choose Invincible. Okay, take 2 unavoidable. That would be amazing. But he is unique. So they've reeled it in a little bit. He is unique, but it's still such a really good ability, because you can keep Darwin all the way in the corner and go out into the middle and start fighting Unimind or whatever piece you want to fight, knowing for sure every time they pick a power, they're going to be taking 1 unavoidable. And if they're using like a possession piece, like Brainiac or whatever like that every time they take damage, they get to pick a power again. Yeah, well, guess what? They're dead. I mean, like, I mean, you start off the game. Okay, I'm gonna pick this power, this power, and this power. Okay, take one unavoidable. Okay, well, Brainiac says every time I take damage or at the beginning of every turn, I can choose a power. So I'm gonna choose this power, and this power. Okay, take one unavoidable again. It's so amazing. I mean, it really nerfs pick a power, and it's something I'm so happy to see. Because I feel like pick a power has been the worst thing to happen to the game in the last probably 5 or 6 years. In my honest opinion, pick a power has disrupted the game, has disrupted the play of the game since the creation of resources. And resources in a way was pick a power. You basically would just, mess with the resource and be like, okay, now I have this power and I have this power too. And it disrupted too much for these pieces to have so many different powers. Whether they were so hard to hit, or they could just heal right back up whenever they wanted to, or they could get out of dodge and heal back up, or it disrupted the game so much. And I'm so happy to see Darwin. I think he is going to be a rare in the set, but I really, really hope in my case I'm getting that I pull a Darwin. I will buy him on the secondary market. Even if he is a $10 rare, I will buy that sucker if I don't pull it in my case. But hopefully I'll pull him in my case. But I love him. I love him. 35 points, X-Men keyword. Yeah, I'm going to be playing X-Men every week for the rest of the year. Yeah, basically. And Darwin's going to be on that team every single week. Yeah. Suck on it, Unimind. I don't give a crap about that stuff. I love it. I love Darwin. MVX, dude. MVX. Most valuable X-Man in the set. Okay, let's move on to the next piece I'm going to talk about. And this is another really cool piece. I'm really excited about this piece. And there's 2 pieces that are just like this, but I can only fit one of them in there. And they're X-Student and X-Trainee. And they both have this really cool ability. So they only have 2 clicks of life, and they can be played at 25 points or 15 points. Now, they have 2 traits. X-Student. When this character, okay, it's the same thing. Whenever their attack roll is 5, you get a modifier that it targets defense -1. Which is cool. I mean, you get enough of those pieces together, and suddenly, if they roll a 5 and a 1, and they're like, crap, I missed with a 6, suddenly you're like, well, you modify the target's defense -2 and you hit them. So I can see the X-Student trait being really useful. And they've included it on a lot of pieces. Okay, but what's really cool is the School for Gifted Youngsters. During force construction, if using the 15-point value, normally for this type of thing, when they have like 4 sets of powers, if you play them at 25 points, you get to just choose what setting you want to start out on. Whether you want the piece to be a Force Blast TKer, which is really cool for 25 points, or you want the piece to be a Plasticity Poison piece, which is really cool for 25 points, or you want the piece to be Support with Sidestep, really cool for 25 points. But they have a really cool trait. School for Gifted Youngsters. During force construction, if using the 15-point value, you may not include more than 4 of them, 4 copies of that piece, at that cost. And when placing characters, an opponent chooses a distinct starting line for each one included at that cost. So what that means is, you can play 1 at 25 points, and you get to choose what point total, what starting line it's at. If you want to have a 25-point TK piece, you can have it. Or, you could play the piece for 15 points. But your opponent gets to choose what power set it has. And that could be bad. They could be like, well, I'm not going to give it TK, and I'm not going to give it support. I'll give it this stupid, mind control super senses. That's not going to be as useful with 0 range, But you can play up to 4 characters for 15 points each. And then they each get a distinct starting line, guaranteeing you one of each of those power sets. So you could play one of your choice for 25 points. You get to play 2 of your choice for 50 points. Or you could play 4 of them and one of each of the power sets for 60 points. And I think that's really cool. 60 points is not a lot of points. And if you get 4 characters for that, and you have a support piece, a TK piece, a mind control piece, and a plasticity piece for 60 points, That's really cool. That is really, really cool. You know, they don't have X-Men team ability, so you can't use them to heal somebody, which that would have taken it to the next level, I think, if they all had X-Men team ability. But they're students. They're not fully X-Men. It makes sense. I just really like it. I really like the ability to be like, okay, I want a 25-point X-Men TK piece. You know, that's something that I'm always looking for. How can I get TK, you know, on a team, you know? Or even support. You know, I'm often looking like, okay, how can I get a support piece? You know, for 50 points, having a TK and a support piece, that's really useful because you could have, you know, you could TK somebody out there, have them attack somebody. They may get hit themselves, and then, you know, next turn, push or something, they TK them back to the support piece and have the support piece support them back up. And that's where, you know, it's really interesting doing something like that. But for 60 points, getting 4 figures and one of each of those power sets, that's amazing. That is amazing. And you're gonna have so many bonuses to the map roll, you know, if you do something like that. You know, if you have 3 regular pieces and then you have 4 of these X students, you're getting a +7 to initiative. That's really, really nice. And they're all going to be able to theme PC, you know, theme probability control. So, I mean, I like it. I mean, I really, really like the X student. The X trainee is set up in the same exact way. You have 4 different starting areas. I think one is like a close combat expert setting, one is a range combat expert setting, one is a charge setting, and one is a hypersonic speed setting. So the X students are more supportive, and the X trainees are more offensive. And I really like that. I really like to play 4 of each for 120 points. And just be like, I would, you know, just, it would be amazing. And I really hope in my case I get extra of these pieces. They're commons, so hopefully I'll get extra. I know when I opened up a case of the Mighty Thor, I only got 2 Loki. So hopefully I don't end up with 2 X student and 2 X trainee. I will absolutely buy until I have a playset of both online. That and Darwin are pieces I have to have. Professor X, these 4 pieces I'm showing off right here, I have to have. And if I don't pull them in my case, I'm going to buy them. And I don't care what their prices are. I don't care if they're meta, I'm going to buy them. Okay, so I love X Student. Moving on, Myra McTaggart. She is, you know, she's kind of connected to Banshee. I think she's from Muir Island. And she's dated Professor X before. I remember her from the X-Men cartoon. And I think her son is Legion, I believe. I may be wrong, but I think her son is like a really powerful mutant. And I think that's where she gets connected with Professor X, where Professor X tries to help him, and he ends up overpowering Professor X and doing some bad stuff. But Myra McTaggart has X-Men keyword and Scientist keyword. She's 25 points. Which is a really nice point total. And then all she really has is just the Headmaster trait, which I mean, I told you, earlier with Professor X is a really cool trait. She has leadership with Perplex, but can only target other X-Men keyword characters. And then she can include a student ID card without adding its cost. And then, she has willpower and sidestep. And then if you push her, she has bounces on the outwit. But loses sidestep. So she's really good. For 25 points, having leadership, that by itself is really good. Because of the new leadership rules, she can leadership tokens off of any X-Men at any point total. As long as they share a keyword with her, she can leadership tokens off of them at any point total. So that's why I'm saying like 25 points for leadership is amazing. That by itself is amazing. I mean, you're not wasting too many points for the chance of a 5 and a 6, the clearer token. And then she also has that Perplex, but can only target other X-Men keywords. But see, that's the thing. You're only going to be playing her with other X-Men most likely. So it doesn't. The people that are like me, that are going to play an X-Men theme team, they're not going to be deterred or damaged by that restriction in any way. But the people that look, I'm going to play this broken piece and this broken piece and that broken piece together, and they don't share any keywords or even from the same universes, those people are going to be damaged or hindered by this kind of design, and I love this kind of design. I'd like to see a Teen Titans set with this kind of design. I'd like to see a Justice League set with this kind of design. I'd like to see an Avengers set with this kind of design. It's really good design. I really like the design where it's more fun design. It's restricted, so it really flourishes in a fun theme. But anyways, 25 points. She has the X-Men team ability, so maybe that's how you bounce her onto the second click. You use the X-Men team ability for like a kind of a support kinda, and then you get Outwit with leadership with Perplex for 25 points. It's nuts. It's absolutely nuts, and she's just a common. She's just a common. I mean, look at these pieces that I'm really interested in. One's a rare. Darwin's probably a rare too. So 2 rares and 2 commons, and the other X-Trainee's a common too. So like, I'm really liking how I'm looking at this set, and I'm like falling in love with the commons and the uncommons and the rares. And the chases seem to be kind of weak, even though they showed off an Iceman today, which is probably my favorite chase in the set. And the super rares seem to be okay, but kind of bloated point total wise. Like the Wolverine and the Cyclops, they're 150 points. I probably would not play him at 150 points. I probably would most likely play him at their 50 point setting, because I think they offer more to a team at their 50 point setting. But 150 points, I don't think they bring enough along. So I'm looking at a lot of the super rares going, those are not must-haves for me. But a lot of the commons, uncommons, and rares I like a lot. Looking back, maybe it was a better idea to just buy a common, uncommon, rare set. But my one of my local stores gave me a decent deal on a case, and something came together and I had the money for it. So I wanted to support the store because they've been supporting HeroClix. So I wanted to purchase from them and support the store, and and promote the game and just be happy. So I'm happy to be able to get a case of this set, and I'm excited for this set. I love the X-Men. Of course, I'm not as excited for another Cyclops, another 3 or 4 Cyclopses, another 3 or 4 Beasts, another 3 or 4 Wolverines. But I think even as much as it kind of like it turns me away of, we're getting another Beast, another Cyclops, another Wolverine, we get pieces like Darwin and Leech and Artie, I think, and Gold Balls and stuff like that. Characters like that we haven't seen in a long time, that are really going to stand out in this set. I think those characters are really going to stand out, and you're going to be really appreciative of getting those characters, and it will make it worthwhile to put up with all this other kind of stuff. So I'm excited for the set. I really hope the chase I get in my case is Iceman. That would be because Iceman is definitely one of my favorite X-Men. I've liked him for the longest time. I remember when I was a kid, I had an Iceman action figure, and he came with a little ice like skateboard, and it's like an icicle skateboard, and you could fill it with water and stick them down in it, and he had holes on the bottom of his feet, so you could stick them down in the prongs inside the skateboard, and then put them in the freezer. And when you would pull him out, there'd be ice it's like a little ice tray that he was standing in. And it was such a cool little toy. And I remember when I was young, I don't know how or why, but I threw him on top of the roof. He got up he landed in the gutter or something, and I never got him back again. But he was such a cool action figure. He was kind of clear, and he had nice sculpt to him. And the ice cube tray, skateboard, very cool figure. And I've always liked Iceman, and the Age of Apocalypse Iceman, the figure in this set, it looks cool. The doll is very, very cool, and it's very symbolistic of an Iceman I've been wanting for a while. It's a stronger Iceman, not just like I'm gonna shoot you with ice and slow you down. Like an Iceman that's like a behemoth, like a super, super strong Iceman. And the Age of Apocalypse one is pretty cool. He can summon ice clones, and then he can consume an ice clone to boost his attack and damage +1 for the turn. And he can also like grow giant size and stuff like that. He can do some really cool stuff. But either way, I don't need any of the chases. Some of the super rares I'd like to get, but I don't need, any of them. The commons, uncommons, rares seem really cool in this set. I'm really excited to get them. And I think sealed is going to be so fun with this set. I haven't seen any figures that have really stood out and been like, this is the Unimind of the set. This is the Goblin King of the set. I haven't seen any figures like that. This is the Phoenix of the set. I haven't seen any figures like that, and I really do think sealed is going to be a ton of fun. I will admit, I think a lot of the figures are lower point value, so you're probably going to need 2 booster packs, or you're going to have to like lower it down to 200 points. Because I mean, look at my figures I'm talking about. 35 point Darwin is a rare. 75 50 point Professor X is a rare. 25 15 point common, 25 point common, the other one's 25 15 point common. You have a lot of 50 point all new X-Men, 60 point X Factors. It's gonna be hard making a 300 point team out of 5 figures if the average point total of a figure is 50 points. So or less. So I think 2 booster packs is gonna make a good pre-release, a good sealed team. And I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I will admit, this is one of my biggest gripes with the set, though, is there doesn't seem to be a lot of ID cards in each of the bricks. Scott Porter pulled a total of 2 ID cards in his entire brick. He pulled a faculty ID card and a student ID card. And that does not bode well, because there's 25 ID cards in the set. I think there's 15 commons and 10 rares. And that does not bode well when you get 2 in a brick. Like in my case, if I get 5, I'll probably be lucky, 6 would be lucky. 5, I would hope 5 would be the standard per case, but 6 would be lucky. In my honest opinion, there should be a lot more, especially when you have all these Headmaster traits, and there's a lot of pieces with Headmaster trait. There's probably close to 8, in the set that have Headmaster trait, and each of them relies on you having a student ID card to play with it. Or you're just wasting the 3 extra points, that you would have available to you. But if you're only getting 2 ID cards in a brick, you might get 2 of the faculty ID cards. You may not even get a student ID card. So in that aspect, I really do think like there should be a lot more ID cards in the set, or there should be a lot more ID cards packaged in with the boosters. And one idea I had, which I really think is a genius idea, is take all the characters that have Headmaster trait and give them a double-sided card where there's like 2 cards combined and it folds in the middle. And then on the front and back have their dial and all that kind of stuff. And then on front and the back of one card have their dial and stuff. And then on the other side, actually put an ID card on there. Have the front and back of an ID card. I think that would make so much sense, In that way, if you got the Headmaster character in a booster pack, if a kid walks up into a store and says, I want to buy 1 booster pack because they're $13 and I can't afford 2 booster packs, and they pull that Professor X and they go, ooh, I can include his student ID card. If they pull that, they have an ID card with it, guaranteed, using my proposed system. That's how they should have been, in my honest opinion. They needed to include a student ID card with every Headmaster X-Man in some way, So, I think hopefully the ID cards are not through the roof. I would like to collect all the student ID cards. I've never been big on the ID cards. I have a few of myself. Like I had to get the Green Lantern one, of course. I've never really used them, because I've always felt like they're overpowered. But at the same exact time, if a character is going to allow me to use a student ID card for free, and I'm going to be playing the figure anyways, like Myra or Professor X, I want an ID card I can put with it. And I'll be really disappointed if I open up my case and I don't have that many student ID cards to choose from. That's going to be the real disappointment there, Either way, the set looks interesting. I'm actually more excited for the set than I thought I was going to be. I was really kind of disappointed with all the extra Cyclopses and Wolverines and stuff. But seeing characters like Darwin and X-Student and X-Trainee and Myra and Professor X, they really filled me with passion for this set. And I'm like, this set's going to be cool. It's going to be fun to play. So I'm excited. Again, pre-releases are starting February 3rd to February 10th. And the set releases February 14th. Which I think is Valentine's Day or something. I don't know. No, maybe it's not, but it's something like that. So probably that weekend, probably the 17th is when a lot of stores will be doing release events. Now, pre-release events don't have any prizes. They used to have prizes. They don't have any prizes anymore. Now the prize is just getting your hands on the set a week or two before. Release events will have a prize. There will be an LE given out. Stores will probably get 4 copies of an LE, and then they'll get a few maps, and you'll probably play on the maps. So, ask your stores if they're doing release events. I think release events are a lot of fun because of the prize involved and stuff. And pre-releases are interesting. I'm going to 2 of them. One of my local stores is having a pre-release, and we're going to support them. And then there's another store within 30 minutes or 40 minutes that's going to be doing a pre-release, and we're going to be supporting them too, because we've never been there before, and we just want to get our hands on more figures. And it may be really important to go to pre-releases because that gives you more options to get those ID cards, because they seem like they're going to be pretty dang rare. But that's really the last topic I had for the podcast. Maybe I can wrap this up in 3 minutes, and we'll have like a 60-minute podcast. That'd be great. Just looking at this image, I think 2018 could be a really fun HeroClix year. We have Batman the animated series, we have a new Turtle set, we have a new X-Men set, we have Avengers Infinity coming out. Is there another Marvel set we know of other than that? I don't know. But just looking at it, I love the X-Men, I love Turtles, I love the original cartoons, Super Friends. I'm excited for all of this. And I think 2018 could be a really, really fun HeroClix set. I look forward to seeing what the storyline organized play event's going to be. Hopefully they bring them back. For some reason, they did not do one on their 15th anniversary year. But hopefully they bring them back. And I'm excited to see what it's going to be. And I think this year is going to be really fun for HeroClix. And definitely talk to your local stores and say, dude, like I'm really interested in this turtle set. Sign me up for a brick of it. I'm really interested in this Batman set. Pre-order me a Fast Forces for it. You gotta let your local stores know that you're interested in this stuff, so they can better order their product and stuff. But I think it's gonna be a very fun year, and I hope everyone has fun playing HeroClix. And I hope to come back in maybe another week or two, probably be another 2 weeks, and talk about HeroClix again. And thank you so much for listening to this podcast. And I hope you had a good time and have a fun time playing HeroClix in the future, everybody. Bye-bye.